Some of the top nerds in the world are also some of America's most loved people. Today, I'm going to demonstrate how to be a nerd. Everyone could use a little more popularity, especially if you're not a jock or the prettiest girl in school or something. Then you're going to need a tactical advantage. So, if you don't believe me, look at Steve Urkel. He was a nerd, and America loves him. Everybody knows who he is. So, to be a nerd, you have to follow these simple rules. Number one is you must dress like a nerd. Number two is you have to act like a nerd. You have to avoid fights like a nerd. You have to have a super cool handshake. And you have to use big and unnecessary language, sorry. So, first, you want to dress like a nerd. So, how do you do that? Nerds dress all different types, but you want to dress like one specific nerd, and that is Urkel. As I've mentioned before, America loves him. So, the first thing you have to do is have your shirt tucked in and wear your pants pretty dang high. Now, you want your pants high enough that it kind of makes it look like there's about to be a flood outside, as shown here. The second thing you want to do is wear glasses with tape in the middle. Now, the tape is pretty trademark. You don't really see a lot of people walking around with just tape on their glasses for no reason. They're usually nerds. But I could only find prescription ones, so for the rest of the speech, I will not have them on. The second thing you want to do is you have to laugh like a nerd. Now, you can't just have any laugh. You don't want to have a type of laugh because, let's face it, that's pretty evil. And we're not going for evil here. And you don't want to have a quiet one. That's reserved for weirdos and pretty girls only. And let's face it, if you're trying to be a nerd, you're probably not that pretty. And so, how do you do it? It has to be loud and memorable. So let me demonstrate one for you. That's a pretty good one. It's contagious. People love it. You know, they're gonna fall in love with you. It'll be great. Now, to use this laugh in certain situations, you want to use it. You want to use it when you're kind of feeling uncomfortable in a situation. It'll just make everyone laugh, and in situations where people might want to hurt you, you want to use it because once they realize you're a nerd, well, no one likes to beat up nerds anymore. The third thing you want to do is you have to fight like a nerd. Now, this is physical as it is verbal. So if you're going to get into a verbal altercation with someone, the first thing you want to do by saying things like, "Oh, I'll fill you up with lead," but you don't really want to let them know that the lead that you're going to fill them up with is actually a mechanical pencil. But hey, the more fear that you can strike, the better. The second thing you want to do is if it starts to get physical and that's not working, you just have to pull from every game, every karate movie, anything that you've ever learned or seen before on a TV show or something. You want to pull your actions from there. So, what are you talking about? I'll show you. So, let's say you're in an altercation with someone and they're bigger than you. How do you scare them off with your physical fights? Now, we'll go with some karate movies for now. But what you want to do, you want to be sitting down and then just come up and right? That's pretty scary. That'll probably creep somebody off too. So, but there's a tactical advantage there. A couple of other ones are boom, you show that leg kick, you strike fear into their hearts. And any other combination of moves that you can think of from video games or movies, you're good to go. Um, Now, the fourth thing you want to do is have a super cool handshake. And you might be thinking, oh, well, me and my friends already have some cool handshakes. But they're probably not as cool as some of the nerdy ones. Or maybe they are. You can go with the, you can go with the typical Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Psh. You could go with the miss high five up top, hit the bottom. It's all good. Some of the things you want to avoid is doing full body ones that require you to move around a lot, because it might make your glasses fall off, and that's just not cool or nerdy like. You always got to keep those on. And you can't just have cool handshakes with everyone. Like, that's just, it's not appropriate. It has to be with other nerds, and so that way you guys get this cool collective nerd vibe, and hey, it works out for everyone. The fifth thing you want to do is use big language. You have to show your intelligence, and if you're intelligent, people respect you for it, and they like you for it. And as we've known before, nerds are loved. So one of the things that you want to do is just be smart. So instead of saying something like, oh, let's say a topic's brought up that you don't understand. Let's say football, for example, right? You're a nerd, you probably don't watch a lot of it. So if someone says, oh, the quarterback like dropped back and he threw that awesome pass, and you're just sitting there like, oh man, I don't know what I'm going to say. So you just say what they said, but in a way that they won't understand. You'll just say, the guy holding the ball, they'll understand it's the quarterback, right? But you'll be like, oh man, when he moved his arm, he made that rock go, and sfiore equal aviation. And for those of you that don't know, it's like the spiral in the air as it's flying through, but they won't understand, and that'll get you some respect. So, as I've said before, the main things you want to do to be a nerd is to make people like you is you have to laugh like a nerd, right? Right? You have to dress like a nerd, high waters and everything, glasses and everything. You have to know how to repel the violence, verbal and physical. You have to have the super cool handshake, right? And you have to use big language that people aren't really going to know, just to make yourself sound intelligent. Now, America really does love its nerds. That's why we wear t-shirts of like Albert Einstein with his tongue out, right? I mean, if he would have just been some regular guy, he would have just been some weirdo, creepy guy. But no, he was a nerd, so that silly littleness that he put into it, it's good stuff. And so now we know, with a little makeover and a lot of work, if you're not experienced, you can too be a certified nerd.